For decades, the Plymouth GTX symbolized untamed American muscle, loud, proud, and unapologetically powerful. Now, after years in the shadows, it's back. And it's not here to play nice. The 2026 GTX promises to combine classic V8 thunder with modern-day performance and tech. But the question is, does it truly live up to its legendary name? Or is this just another nostalgia-driven reboot for attention? Today, we're taking a deep dive into what could be the boldest American comeback of the decade. And by the end, you'll know whether this car is the real deal or just another ghost of the past. The Plymouth GTX has always been more than just a car. It was a statement. Born in the late 1960s, it carried an attitude that defined American performance: brute power, wide stance, and unmistakable presence. But as emissions tightened and markets shifted, the GTX quietly disappeared into history books, leaving behind only echoes of burnout smoke and garage legends. Now in 2026, Plymouth, under the Stellantis umbrella, is bringing back the GTX with a mission: to remind America what raw performance feels like. Positioned between classic muscle nostalgia and modern performance practicality, this car targets drivers who crave emotion behind the wheel, not just efficiency or luxury. Its comeback couldn't have arrived at a better time. With electric crossovers and silent performance EVs dominating headlines, enthusiasts have been yearning for something mechanical, something visceral, something alive. The 2026 GTX promises exactly that. And while the design screams heritage, every inch of this car has been rebuilt for the modern era, from its aerodynamic body lines to its tech-packed cockpit. So, the real question isn't whether the GTX looks the part, it's whether it can perform like one. Because the next few minutes are going to reveal just how much of that old-school soul still roars beneath this modern skin. At first glance, the 2026 Plymouth GTX doesn't just turn heads, it demands attention. The front end is a masterclass in retro aggression, a wide grille inspired by the '69 model, flanked by razor-sharp LED headlights that cut through the air like twin daggers. The hood bulge returns, complete with functional heat extractors that hint at the beast underneath. Even standing still, it looks fast, like it's straining at the leash. Move to the side, and the proportions tell the real story. It sits lower, wider, and more planted than ever before. Massive 20-inch forged alloys fill the arches, wrapped in high-performance Michelin rubber. The stance screams control. The rear design ties it all together. Quad exhausts, a sculpted diffuser, and those unmistakable GTX taillights reborn in glowing LED signature form. Step inside, and the transformation continues. Gone is the Spartan muscle of the past. In its place, a cockpit that blends tradition with technology. You'll find suede and leather upholstery, a flat-bottom steering wheel with retro stitching, and a fully digital gauge cluster that morphs based on drive mode. The infotainment system supports wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. But what really stands out is the new Driver Pulse mode, a system that syncs throttle response, exhaust tuning, and suspension stiffness in real time to mirror your driving rhythm. Under the hood sits what Plymouth calls the Hemi-Storm V8, a 6.4-liter, naturally aspirated monster pushing over 500 horsepower. It's paired with an 8-speed automatic, but purists will be happy to know a manual version is rumored for later in the lineup. On the road, early testers claim it feels like a blend of vintage muscle and modern track machine. Brutal acceleration with surprisingly precise handling. Safety hasn't been ignored either. Adaptive cruise, blind spot assist, and emergency braking come standard. Fuel economy isn't its strong suit, but let's be honest, that's not why you buy a GTX. The purpose here is thrill, sound, and emotion. But the real surprise? It's not just power, it's balance. The chassis tuning feels mature, refined even. It wants to go fast, but it also wants you to feel confident while doing it. Still, we're saving the most shocking revelation for what happens when you actually push this car to its limits. The ignition roars to life, and within seconds, you know this isn't just a rebranded memory, it's a rebirth. The GTX's engine note is deep, thunderous and raw, echoing the golden era of Detroit muscle, but with modern precision. On the open track, it launches from 0 to 60 in just 3.8 seconds, a figure that plants it firmly among modern performance greats. The acceleration pins you back, Yet the steering stays shockingly composed. Every corner reveals how much engineering has evolved since the 60s. The weight feels balanced, the suspension tuned perfectly between aggression and control. It's fast, yes, but it's also smart. What truly surprises is the refinement. The cabin remains calm, even as the engine bellows. The adaptive dampers soak up imperfections without killing the excitement. It's the kind of car that makes you grin uncontrollably. The kind that makes you want to find the longest stretch of road and just keep driving. But here's the twist. It's not just nostalgia that makes the GTX shine. It's its ability to stand toe-to-toe with modern icons like the Dodge Challenger Hellcat or even the Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Somehow, it manages to deliver heart-pounding speed without sacrificing control or composure. Still, the question lingers. Is all this enough to cement the GTX as more than just a comeback story? Because while it's proven it can roar with the best of them, the true test will be whether it can evolve with a market that's racing toward electrification. That's the conversation we'll wrap up next, where power meets perspective. After spending time with the 2026 Plymouth GTX, one thing becomes undeniable. This isn't a retro gimmick. It's a statement that old-school muscle can still rule in a digital age. The GTX delivers everything you'd hope for from a modern performance car. Raw horsepower, head-turning design, and that visceral connection you just don't get from silent EVs. The pros are clear: breathtaking acceleration, stunning craftsmanship, and a sense of identity that's been missing from many new cars. The cons: pricing may sting, and its thirst for fuel will turn away some daily drivers. But for enthusiasts who crave authenticity over algorithms, the GTX speaks directly to the soul. In a market obsessed with efficiency, the GTX reminds us that cars are supposed to make us feel something. It's not about silence, it's about sound. It's not about restraint, it's about release. This car doesn't apologize for being loud, fast, and full of character. And in 2026, that's a rebellion worth celebrating. So, what do you think? Has Plymouth truly revived the muscle car spirit? Or is this just one last roar before the electric takeover? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more powerful American legends, just like this one.